All right, let's talk about one of the trickiest parts of recruiting today, data roles. You've got analysts, engineers, scientists. What's the difference? And how in the world do you hire the right one? Well, if that's on your mind, you have come to the right place. We are going to demystify all of it. So let's jump right in.
So, to really get a handle on why these roles are so critical, let's just start with a little thought experiment. I want you to picture your favorite local restaurant. You know, the one with the amazing pasta. Now, what if that restaurant was trying to operate completely in the dark? What if the chef had absolutely no idea which dishes people actually loved or what ingredients they even had in the pantry?
Yeah, it would be a total disaster, right? I mean, complete chaos. They'd be ordering way too much of some stuff, constantly running out of others, and just pushing dishes that nobody actually wants to eat. Basically, they'd miss every single opportunity to get better, to innovate. And you know what? That is exactly the problem that data professionals solve, just on a much, much bigger scale.
So yeah, let's really lean into that image for a second. A restaurant just flying blind. It's messy, it's inefficient, and it's the absolute perfect stage to introduce our data heroes, the team that's about to walk in and save the day.
So, who are these heroes? Let's meet the data team. We're going to break down the 3 key players who waltz into this chaos and bring some much-needed clarity. And for you recruiters, listen up, because these are the roles you're trying to hire. This analogy is going to make it all click, I promise.
First up, we have the data analyst. Now, I want you to think of them as the restaurant's quality controller. They're obsessed with what's happening right now and what happened last week. They're the ones digging into the sales reports, seeing, whoa, the steak frites is flying out the door, but nobody's ordering the salmon. They're reading every single customer comment to figure out why. Their whole job is to spot those trends and go to the chef and say, hey, we should double down on the steak and maybe, rethink that salmon recipe.
Okay, next up is the data engineer. This is our inventory manager. And let me tell you, this role is the absolute foundation of everything. The analyst can't analyze anything if the data is a mess, right? The engineer is the one who builds and maintains the systems, that digital pantry that tracks every single ingredient, every order, every single transaction. They make sure all that information is clean, reliable, and easy to get to. Thanks to them, the kitchen never unexpectedly runs out of potatoes on a packed Friday night.
And that brings us to our third hero, the data scientist. This is the recipe innovator. So while the analyst is looking at the past and present, the scientist has their eyes on the future. They use all sorts of advanced analytics, looking at dining trends, what ingredients are in season, what people are craving, to predict the next big hit on the menu. They're the ones who come in and say, you know what? Based on all this data, a spicy cauliflower dish is going to be a massive hit next fall. They're all about experimentation and innovation.
Okay, so the whole restaurant analogy is a fantastic starting point. It really is. But how does this actually play out in the real world, at scale? Let's make a jump now from the kitchen to the cloud and see how these exact same roles work at a behemoth like Amazon. This is where it'll really sink in why each role is so distinct and so valuable.
And check this out. You can see right here how perfectly that analogy scales up. It's amazing. The restaurant's quality controller, that's the data analyst at Amazon, digging through literally millions of transactions and customer reviews. The inventory manager, that's the data engineer, building these massive, complex data pipelines that track every single product in every single warehouse. And our recipe innovator? Well, that's the data scientist, predicting what you're going to want to buy next and powering that world-famous recommendation engine. See? Same jobs, just a much, much bigger kitchen.
All right, now for the part I know you've been waiting for. Let's get super practical. This is your recruiter's hiring guide. We're turning all this theory into stuff you can actually use. So, what do you, as a recruiter, really need to know to go out there and find and hire these incredibly talented people?
Okay, one of the biggest mix-ups I see all the time is the difference between an analyst and a scientist. Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is it's a matter of tense. A data analyst is all about the past in the present. They're looking at what has happened to give you insights for today. A data scientist, on the other hand, is focused squarely on the future. They're using things like machine learning to predict what will happen.
And where does the data engineer fit in all this? Well, they're the ones who make it all possible for both of them. Think of them as building the superhighways of data that the analyst and the scientist get to drive on. Seriously, without the engineer's work, neither of the other two can do their jobs effectively. They are absolutely critical.
So you're looking at a resume and it's full of acronyms and tech buzzwords. What should you actually look for? Here are the big ones.
You're going to see SQL everywhere. That's the universal language for talking to databases. Python is the powerhouse used for all the really advanced analysis. You'll see visualization tools like Tableau or Power BI. That's how they make those cool dashboards that tell a story. And for the engineers, look for pipeline tools like Airflow. That's the magic that keeps all the data flowing cleanly and automatically.
Okay, you found a resume that looks great. Now what? How do you really figure out if they're the real deal in an interview? Here are 3 questions you can ask that work for pretty much any data role. First, always ask about business impact. How did something they did actually help the company? Second, ask about automation and maintenance. This really gets at their efficiency and engineering mindset. And third, and this is so important, ask how they collaborate. Data pros can't work in a silo. They have to partner with other teams to make things happen.
So, as we start to pull this all together, it really comes back to one central idea. Data isn't just some techie department off in the corner. It is the essential business ingredient. In today's world, having a strong data team isn't a nice-to-have. It's absolutely critical if you want to grow, innovate, and frankly, just survive.
And this right here is the big takeaway. This connects everything we've been talking about. Think about it. A great restaurant's success hinges on knowing its customers and its kitchen. Well, today's biggest companies are no different. They rely on their data teams to drive the smart decisions that fuel real, meaningful growth. That's the value your next hire is going to bring to the table.
Which leaves us with just one final thought for you to chew on. If your data scientist is the recipe innovator, and your data team is the engine of your company's kitchen, what amazing new dish, what groundbreaking new product or service is your data team cooking up right now? That's the incredible power you're hiring for. Thanks so much for joining me.